Terence Stamp is one of the few actors in film history who exemplifies reinvention. One of Britain's first real international stars, he sprang onto the screen in the 1960s with a commanding presence, aristocratic elegance, and piercing blue eyes. Stamp appeared poised for a long-term position at the top, working with industry titans and being praised as a representation of the swinging London era. However, Hollywood is erratic, and his career stalled when preferences shifted, resulting in years of notoriety, introspection, and even personal exile. Stamp, however, was never one to blend in with the scenery. One of the most amazing comebacks in contemporary filmmaking was fueled by his tenacity and unshakable love for the industry. Stamp demonstrated that genuine craftsmanship never dies. From playing legendary villains like General Zod in Superman, to redefining himself in bold, highly regarded parts later in life. His journey serves as both a warning and an inspiration to younger generations when they come across his work. A tribute to the enduring force of genius, perseverance, and the enchantment of film, Terence Stamp's rise, fall, and victorious rebirth is more than just the story of one man. Let's watch. 1. A star born in the swinging 60s, The Rise. In the early 1960s, Terence Stamp became one of the most captivating characters in British cinema. He was a member of the angry young men movement that revolutionized British filmmaking and was attractive, mysterious, and intense beyond his peers. His breakout performance was in Billy Budd, 1962, for which he was nominated for an Academy Award for his portrayal of cruelty and innocence. Stamp then started to appear frequently in the decade's daring, fashionable movies. He demonstrated that his talent was not limited by his roles in Fellini's Toby Dammit 1968 and The Collector 1965, a terrifying psychological thriller that cemented his breadth. In addition to being an actor, Stamp was a cultural icon during the 1960s, appearing on magazine covers, being pictured with Gene Shrimpton, and being appreciated by both fans and critics. He was influencing the tone of an age, not just acting in movies. 2. A disappearing act in the 1970s. The Fall. Stamp's fame started to wane as the 1970s rolled around. The decade was harsh, leaving him somewhat lost due to changes in the profession and personal hardships. Stamp refused to be easily categorized, in contrast to many of his peers who remade themselves in Hollywood. His career was frequently overshadowed by his personal life, which included relationships with some of the most well-known ladies of the era. He once spent a considerable amount of time in India, where he distanced himself from the industry that had once welcomed him and immersed him in Eastern philosophy and spirituality. Hollywood considered this to be a disappearance. Stamp's on-screen persona declined for almost 10 years, playing fewer significant roles and receiving less attention. This retreat looked like a betrayal for a performer of his caliber. Even so, he maintained a mystique that only strengthened his legend. 3. Reinvention in the 1980s. The return of the villain. Terence Stamp returned to the public eye in the 1980s, but with a completely different name. He recast himself as a formidable villain rather than the sentimental young man of the 1960s. His portrayal of General Zod in Superman 2, 1980, is his most famous role from that era. Stamp established himself as one of the most unforgettable antagonists in film history with his terrifying command of the line, "Kneel before Zod." He was reintroduced to audiences around the world with this performance, especially a younger generation that had never seen his previous work. Many people were introduced to Stamp by Zod, which sparked their interest in his earlier works. The 1980s saw his development into a well-respected character actor with gravity, a man who could steal scenes with his voice and presence alone, even though it did not completely return him to his leading man position. 4. From the 1990s to the early 2000s, the respected veteran. Stamp was completely accepted as a seasoned actor whose career had come full circle in the 1990s and early 2000s. In The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert 1994, he won praise for his sensitive and groundbreaking portrayal of transgender Lady Bernadette. It revealed Stamp's bravery as an actor by selecting parts that exhibited sensitivity and defied preconceptions. High-profile roles in movies such as Wall Street 1987, The Limey 1999, and Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace 1999, in which he played Chancellor Valorum, were also part of this time frame. With filmmaker Steven Soderbergh building a whole neo-noir revenge thriller around Stamp's stoic appeal, The Limey in particular was a revelation. His second ascent occurred during this time. He was no longer the young matinee idol, but rather the calm, older statesman. 5. Wisdom in selected roles in later years. With well-chosen roles and an increasingly introspective public image as an elderly father, Stamp accepted his place as a movie great, starting in the 2010s. He contributed his gravity to projects in a variety of genres, narrated documentaries, and starred in movies like Big Eyes 2014. His presence boosted the content, even when he wasn't playing the lead. Drawing from his decades of experience, he offered ideas about acting, celebrity, and spirituality off-screen. Younger performers started to respect him and frequently cited him as an inspiration. Film festivals started showing retrospectives of his career during this time, reminding viewers of his extraordinary versatility. His influence grew even as his productivity decreased, demonstrating that legends don't always need to be prolific to be significant. 6. The Return. Rediscovery in the age of streaming. Terence Stamp has undergone yet another round of rediscovery in the 2020s. A younger generation has appreciated his work as a result of streaming technologies making classics like Billy Budd, The Collector, and The Limey broadly accessible. Social media users share clips of his well-known Superman 2 sequences, exposing General Zod to new fans that subsequently look up his larger body of work. Stamp's more than 60 years on screen were celebrated in 2024, with tributes from major film festivals and streaming providers. In interviews from this time, Stamp came across as humorous, modest, and introspective, admitting his errors as well as his unwavering love of performing. Stamp's career has turned into a case study in resiliency in a time when nostalgia is rampant, demonstrating that a true artist's work will always reappear to inspire even after fading from the public eye. 7. A legend for 2025 and beyond. The legacy. In 2025, Terence Stamp is regarded as a cultural icon whose career embodies the cyclical cycle of fame in addition to being a well-known actor. His journey, which saw a quick ascent, a decline, and several comebacks, is representative of the brittleness and resilience of celebrity. His legacy is rooted on his embodiment of reinvention as much as the parts he portrayed. Stamp has demonstrated that the ability to adapt, endure, and prosper across generations is more important for success in the film industry than unwavering domination. Actors praise him as a master of presence and restraint. Film schools now teach his performances, and retrospectives portray him as one of Britain's greatest exports. His name has significance in 2025 that goes beyond any one decade. Terence Stamp is still regarded as a legend who demonstrated that once an artist's passion is sparked, it never really goes out. It only waits for the world to catch up. Conclusion. As Terence Stamp's incredible journey comes to a conclusion, one thing stands out above all others. A true legend is not one who never stumbles, but one who gets back up stronger after falling. As a reminder that greatness frequently comes in waves rather than straight lines, Stamp's career is a tale of genius, ingenuity, and tenacity. Stamp's life is evidence that enthusiasm and tenacity can endure even the most trying circumstances, as evidenced by his brilliant beginnings as one of Britain's greatest stars, his agonizing descent into obscurity, and his triumphant return to the international scene. He was more than just an actor, he was a cultural influence and an icon who boldly and authentically embraced vulnerability, creativity, and reinvention. His presence seems eternal even now, as fans relive his iconic performances. Younger generations might recognize him from contemporary cult films or as General Zod, but a closer examination will reveal the essence of an artist who lived life to the fullest, took calculated risks, and inspired others. The tale of Terence Stamp is not only about his film career, it is also about the strength of perseverance, the beauty of reimagining, and the unwavering conviction that legends never really die. Let us know in the comments what you think about the rise, fall, and comeback of Terence Stamp, a tribute to a legend. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating content on our YouTube channel.